Alright, what's the plan?
Are we going all out?
Yeah.
So they could do this. I don't think that they'll try to open storefront.
I feel like storefront's a big enough play.
Door charge freezer, and then wall charge storefront so you can look at the front.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's rocking what?
I'm taking extra flash just to try see if I can finish it right here.
Alright, I'm out of here.
Well, they're going now. Get ready.
Here I'm heading north.
Alright.
Who's got clacker?
Do we have arcade, or do they have it?
We still have arcade.
3, 2, 1.
Tell them going in.
Freezer and storefront.
Get the power.
Send it, brother.
Watch arcade. Watch arcade back. They can't come the other way. They can't come
Nice.
through.
GG.
Get
Good
it?
execution.
Got it.
Green, we just censor office and dock, right?
Yo, what? It like swings open? Dude, this is slick.
I'm dropping.
Going. I'm pushing.
Nice.
A vote for Futureman is a vote for the future. Argus stock up 5 points in the wake of recent crime. The bullets are real. The danger is real. The excitement is real. Coming to you live from Governor's Island, Argus presents the deadliest game show ever aired. Duel Room USA. Watch us 5 low-down punks and 5 Argus enforcers go head-to-head in the ultimate combat challenge. D-Day. Storm the beaches for a dangerous frontal assault. Jungle. Hide among the leaves and employ guerrilla warfare. Castle. A powerful defensive fortress. Observation. Survey the area and keep an eye on the competition. Hit. Where one wrong step can mean the difference between shortcut and cut short. Who will survive inside Kildome, USA? Watch Kildome at 7, only on Violence TV.
Alright, here we go.
Alright, what's the plan?
Are we going all out?
Yeah.
So they could do this. I don't think that they'll try to open storefront.
I feel like storefront's a big enough play.
Door charge freezer, and then wall charge storefront so you can look at the front.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's rocking what?
I'm taking extra flash just to try see if I can finish it right here.
Alright, I'm out of here.
Well, they're going now. Get ready.
Here I'm heading north.
Alright.
Who's got clacker?
Do we have arcade, or do they have it?
We still have arcade.
3, 2, 1.
Tell them going in.
Freezer and storefront.
Get the power.
Send it, brother.
Watch arcade. Watch arcade back. They can't come the other way. They can't come
Nice.
through.
GG.
Get
Good
it?
execution.
Got it.
Green, we just censor office and dock, right?
Yo, what? It like swings open? Dude, this is slick.
I'm dropping.
Going. I'm pushing.
Nice.
A vote for Futureman is a vote for the future. Argus stock up 5 points in the wake of recent crime. The bullets are real. The danger is real. The excitement is real. Coming to you live from Governor's Island, Argus presents the deadliest game show ever aired. Duel Room USA. Watch us 5 low-down Enforcers go head-to-head in the ultimate combat challenge, D-Day. Storm the beaches for a dangerous frontal assault.
Hello everyone, hello everyone. I'm TH Pine, the community manager for Due Process, and I welcome you to Community Hours. Well, will only be 1 hour today, Community Hour, I guess, technically. Yeah, we have to call this one a little short because I have another meeting after this. So, can you put the Dome trailer on again? Just go to our YouTube channel and watch it there. As many times as you want. Or on our Steam page, that works as well. That's the easiest way. So, yeah. This is our weekly Q&A session. So feel free to ask me anything. Well, anything about DP. I mean, you can ask me personal stuff. We'll see if I answer it, but... So, yeah. They're optimizing the game yet, or what? Yes, we are. Well, we're doing this all the time. We're working on a big optimization task right now. And it will be great when it releases. But it's still a while out, unfortunately. But yeah, working on it. Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, basically, optimization and hit reg are our main priorities right now. Well, optimization, hit reg, customization / progression. These are the things that are on the top of our minds right now. Well, then new tile set, etc. Stuff like that. How about 2-story maps? Any thoughts? Well, yes. As Simba said, it's been tried in the past. Yes, we did a 2-story map in the alpha, and it didn't work well. We learned a bunch of lessons from it, and we had some. Since then, we had some internal tests again, and we have some plans and some ideas for it. We just have to iron out the kinks. So. There will be one day, hopefully, if we don't run into another blocker. But the main problem is readability. Like, in understanding a 3D space from a 2D map is hard in a short time frame. Like, it's doable, but if you only have 90 seconds. Oh wait, let me look at my post-it note really quick. What's the planning time right now? Casual. You have 20 plus 70, so 90 seconds of planning plus 15 seconds of setup, I guess, for attackers. So. Around 100 seconds to understand the space and make a plan, then 2 floors is really hard. It's really, really hard. So, 2021 or 2022 release, to be decided. That's not set in stone yet. It's not really important either. Like, we're released, right? We're live. We're in early access, yes, but these kind of games are always like a living product. There's no state where we could say this game is done now, like where it's 100% complete. That's just not a thing, or at least not in the foreseeable future. And thus, we will just pick it like when we're confident with a bunch of our systems and confident with the state of the game. We'll flip the switch and say, okay, it's actually released now, I guess. But I mean, we'll obviously use that for marketing purposes and make that a big push and whatnot. But technically, like for us, like not much changes from the development perspective, right? You just keep improving the game. Doesn't matter if it's early access or not. Thoughts on making C-Store more than just Wallcharge storefront? Yeah, ask the level designers. They are constantly thinking about that, more or less. Well, not constantly, but regularly. It's not trivial. It's not trivial. But yeah, C-Store is definitely one of the topics they're trying to find good solutions for. Will probably like they will like. There's two approaches to improve levels, right? One is the level designers are pumping out 20 new maps every week anyway. So when they're making these maps, they can experiment with a few things and try to push them in certain directions. That's the thing they can always do. And that's what they're doing right now when it comes to Seastar. And then there's like the bigger task where you take the you take a step back and look at the whole tile set, like similar to how you would make a new tile set. You can look at an old tile set and like, okay, what's the direction of this? Is this good? Do we need to change something? What's the goal of this tile set? Where is this going? Which systems do we need? How do we need to change the level generator to achieve those goals? And we will do that eventually with Seastar as well. But Factory is probably coming first. So for now, it's smaller adjustments for how Storefront spawns or is filled with cover or whatever can be done, but nothing significant. Like nothing. Well, not saying nothing significant, but nothing that would requires major involvement from the level team and maybe engineering support even, or the art team, because those people are working on other things. How much does age rating ESRB affect game sales? Seems like 9% ignores that stuff in my environment. I don't have data on that, but I know that publishers in general, like not saying our publisher, but like, well, they do, but in general speaking, like publishers care about these ratings as far as I know. So I don't have data, but I'm pretty sure they have a significant effect. Bank themed tile set. Come on, you know you want to. I mean, a bank would be cool for sure. We have a vault already, right? So put that into a bank. Why not? Or are you talking about a park bank? Joking. How's server update coming along? What are you referring to specifically? Hitreg? Hitreg is being worked on. Oh, by the way, I'm in a Discord stage channel. So if you guys want to ask your question in voice, feel free to join there and raise your hand. Request to speak, and I can give you voice. Also useful if you don't want to, like, if you want to just listen, if you just want to listen to this stream and not watch it on Twitch because you're in the car or whatever. A very random question. Were the August troopers supposed to be robots at first? Not to my knowledge. I don't think so, no. Never heard about this. Like, I don't want to say like a clear no, because I was not around for the start of this game and the start of the vision and the concepts and whatnot. So I don't want to rule it out 100%, but I never heard of that. So there always have been like parallels to RoboCop and whatnot, but what Judge Dredd really? And Judge Dredd isn't a robot, right? So I don't think so. In the console world, yeah, ratings are important in the console world. That's true, or more important, I guess. That would make sense to me. Can I send you my Dome notepad? What's the content? But sure, if you have like well-formulated feedback, feel free to send it to me. I'll make sure it reaches the right person. Thoughts on making tile sets switch outable, like you can only have Dome or Factories, Historical House, new map, or new map 2. What? Oh, only like you for a custom game mode? Like we want to play Dome 24/7? If so, I mean, we want to. I can get you into voice, I guess. You just requested, so. Hey, merchant. Oh no, he's not in yet. Did I press the red button? I did. He doesn't accept, so I don't know what to tell you. Maybe he doesn't find the button. I don't know where we have to click. We have to accept the invite. Okay, let's try again.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
There we go. Hello.
I don't know how to use the staging. Yeah, so to rephrase my question, it was like, Is there any plans like making you either get C store or kill house in the certain 3 maps? Like you can't get both of them to like stop certain maps, like double long range.
Oh, like
maps,
putting them in
triple light
categories
maps.
and only getting one from each category. So,
Yes.
We don't have concrete plans for that right now, but like it's definitely something that we might end up doing depending on how like the goal would be to like I think like it would be nicer if we could get away with not doing that and just make every tile set compatible with each other. But this, like, if this leads to balance issues at some point, because like 2 tile sets are very wall charge heavy or whatever, then we definitely have to consider a solution like that. But we don't have concrete plans for it right now. I mean, there's also the factor that balance will probably significantly change over in the future when we add new equipment, new weapons, defender economy, etc., etc. So definitely something to keep in mind, but we don't have concrete plans for it right now.
Yeah, I think that's all. I had another question, but I kind of forgot that. Well,
All right.
I'll raise my hand again if it pops back up.
Sure. Feel free. Do you ever play casual games? Are you asking me? Yes. Not as much as I would like to, but I'm trying. Just very busy right now these days, so it's hard for me to actually find the time to play. Like, I need to. Like, the problem is, I need a time slot to play a full match, right? Does that mean I can run out on you? You can try. It's not against the rules, and as long as you're doing it against someone like me, that's fine. I would ask you to not do it against noobs, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, I need to get a fixed time slot and whatnot to play a match, because I hate abandoning matches, and that's kind of hard with my daily schedule right now, because most of these time slots are filled already with important stuff. So I'm trying. I cannot play as much as I would like to right now. Is getting on top of the locks and rocks on Dome something that is not meant to happen? Usually not. It's yeah, we usually don't want you to be up there. We'd have to ask level designers about specific situations, but in general, if you feel like this might not be intended, then it's probably not. But it's also, I think it's not the end of the world, right? Is this like, do you have an instance in mind where it gives you an insane advantage or something? In the roadmap, there's mention of fixing networking issues. Is that anywhere near the future? Yes. One of our engineers is full-time working on HitReg right now, like reworking some of the HitReg code to make it more consistent. We just released on Monday a minor update that solved some of the HitReg issues. But we work on a bigger one, more important one. But that will take him a while. Definitely a few. Yeah, I don't want to give you a time frame really, but he's actively working on it. And also we're working on, like, the other engineers are basically working on a performance, which is also related to networking. So that will improve the performance of the networking code, which I would assume could have some positive effects on HitReg and stuff like that as well. Let's get Donkey in here. He has trouble finding the button as well, I guess. You have to accept the invite. Thoughts on 24/7 Dome queues? Conceit game gets bigger. Well, eventually we will have a proper custom game mode, and that will allow for specific rules like only one tile set or whatever. Sure. Making it a separate queue? Probably not. Definitely not in the foreseeable future. I mean, if we would have like a huge player base, then maybe we could give you like priorities or whatever. You can say, I only want to play this tile set, but not planned right now, besides for custom matches eventually. I've noticed some clipping of weapons on killouts between exterior walls and outside. I'll drop a screenshot of in the back channel and Discord. I mean, yeah, clipping is a thing right now. It's, I mean, on exterior walls, yeah, I guess it can happen. I was told that networking should feel okay for same region play. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Ping is like is a big factor in how bad the hit reg or the networking issues are affecting you. Like if you have a bigger, like a higher ping, then your hit reg issues will be way worse. And the game, like if you're playing on the same server with low ping, like in the same region with low ping, then it should be okay in most situations. It's probably not perfect, but it's pretty acceptable, more than acceptable. It's like it's sufficient. But the problem is, as soon as the ping gets a little higher, there are some situations where hit reg can be a little bit iffy, and that's what we're working on. Living in a third world country, after certain hours, it'll always kick me out every minute or so. Oh, interesting. Not quite sure what that is related to. Might be solved by one of the two things I mentioned earlier we're working on. Because, as I said, both is network related. Like, we basically all of our engineers are working on some network related task in some shape or form. But yeah, but just reducing the network usage might help you. Maybe that's the issue, like you're losing too many packets or whatever. Are the devs happy with the current movement mechanics, or are there still plans on changing it? Depends on what you're talking about. Like, this is a Vince question, right? Vince, our lead game designer, and I don't want to speak for him. But when I talked to him about this the last time, he was like, movement is movement itself, like running around, is probably fine right now, but he's definitely gonna keep an eye on it, on feedback and whatnot. So if you're not feeling happy with it, he's open to feedback about that. What he definitely wants to change is a lot of other movement related things there. Like he has more plans for, I think, what was it? Like crouching and stuff like that. So having some mechanics change in that regard is definitely something on his mind. But I think the moving around part, like the running around part itself, I think he's fairly confident in right now. But don't quote me on that. You would have to ask the man himself. Molotov damage buff. Attackers can run through a molly and survive. I mean, they're gonna take a lot of damage if they do so. But maybe. Like, it's always hard for me to talk about balance questions because that's very much Vince's topic. And I hate to speak for him, like, because I don't know in detail what is going on in his mind. If you feel like mollies aren't strong enough, bring it up in gameplay feedback. I know who reads that. Like, Vince is very, like, he might not be the most responsive guy, but I know that he's reading he's taking in a lot of feedback. Like, he's looking at feedback for sure. Like, he might not respond to you, but he's like, when I did the gunplay form, right? Maybe some people of you did probably wrote responses for that. Like, when I made the gunplay feedback form, Vince did go through and read every single response, like everything. He read everything, all of it. So, just want to assure you, you're being heard if you're putting feedback about balance in gameplay feedback or wherever where you can find it. B-hopping when? Never. At least not intentional. But I hope you don't mind me using your footage for my gun guide series. Meant to ask a question, totally forgot. Which footage are you referring to? But probably not a big, like, I cannot think of anything that would be an issue. So. Can we get Vince on community hours? Unlikely. Wall running, grenade jumping. We're not Titanfall 2. I don't think so. Wall running. Oh boy. Due process is a movement shooter now. Will there be different bullet decals or marks on doors, walls, and objects depending on if they penetrate or not? I mean, eventually, one day, probably, but not planned right now, not in the foreseeable future. Like, this would be a really low priority task. Like, if you listen to the bar Q&A we did 1.5 weeks ago, I think, at this point, like, a lot of these things that make sense, right? These are like, this makes sense, right? It's good feedback. It's also making sense in the world. Like a decal, like a bullet that goes through a thing makes different hole, because it makes a hole, than a bullet that gets stuck in a wall or something, right? So it makes sense in the world. It also makes sense for the game because it gives feedback to the player. So this is a no-brainer in terms of whether or not we want it. The question is, when do we put that in? Because we have a long list of things we would like to put in, and this is very minor. It's not like super important, and we are a small team, so we have to prioritize hard. Like, this is our main, like, the biggest, like the trickiest thing for us is to prioritize the right things, like make the right decisions, because our team is small and we have a big project. We have to make the right calls. We have to work on the right things. And thus, a lot of these ideas sound great, but we cannot put them in right now, like not even close, like not in the foreseeable future whatsoever. So, and I would say bullet decals, maybe, like, they're not so, like, they're probably easy to do and add significant value. So maybe not in the, like, far future, but we're blocked on so many significant, like, core tasks right now. I don't see anything like that in the near future coming. What if there were big robots that had giant guns? That would be amazing. But probably not a good fit for the game. Unless Factory becomes a big robot factory, basically. And then a hookshot. Yeah, hookshot. Imagine a giant Argus robot. Single player campaign. No. Not, like, that's one of these things that would be nice to have anything AI related. Like, even a simple terrorist hunt or whatever. But, like, AR, like, decent AI is hard. Decent AI on random maps is harder. And, as I said, more important stuff to do. Small team. Like, anything that's at all AI related is, like, way out of scope for now. Would be cool? Sure, absolutely. I would love to play the process with, like, 4 bots that I can give directions and, like, play through a campaign. I would love that. Sure, probably most people would love that, or a lot of people would love that. But that's so much out of scope. Like, it's incredible how out of scope that is for now. Just to give you some perspective. Don't want to shout you down, but not gonna happen anytime. Like, not gonna happen probably ever. Will there ever be non-explosive destructibility like shelves on C-Store? Non-explosive destructibility. What do you mean? Like, you can shoot out things? I mean, we'll get back the object destruction, so you will be able to shoot out, like, the shelves again and stuff like that. Eventually. It's on the roadmap. That's what you're referring to. Will there be more attacker weapons anytime in the next 6 months? I don't want to commit on a like on a timeline here. More attacker weapons eventually. More defender weapons more important. So seeing people save Saber or Clacker during TPL makes me want a button or something on truck you can hit to retreat and damage. We have plans to solve that situation. I cannot tell you more than that, but we're aware of that issue. We have plans to resolve it. Titanfall 2 do process crossover. I wish. Still, UAV not a big robot with a big gun. I mean, is a UAV a robot? How do you define a robot? I mean, technically it's a thing. I don't know. Could be a robot. top-down campaign, I mean, just play door kickers. Will we get any other game mode like a simple free-for-all before full release? I would say unlikely. Like maybe we come up with like a warm-up mode or something, like that, where you can play while you're waiting for your queue to pop. But yeah, maybe, but nothing besides that. Like that's a big maybe. If you're talking about something like a different, like an alternative to well, are you asking for free for all specifically? In custom matches maybe. Like this free for all doesn't make much sense, right? As a fun mode, like a warm up maybe in custom games maybe, but yeah, not as a proper game mode. More defender, who interesting. Yeah, defenders will definitely get more guns, or like yeah. Any plans on reworking the training mode? I feel like new players would benefit greatly from a proper in-game tutorial. That's one of these big topics. NPE, new player experience, is on our minds. It's important. It's not quite as important as performance and hit rate and customization and progression, but it's right after, like it's basically the next big thing, right? So we want to improve the new player experience. Will we do this with a full-blown tutorial? Probably not. Will we touch the current training mode and adjust it to make it better? I mean, that seems like a reasonable task, because the foundation is there already, right? So changing a little bit to make it, like we're all, like I know that, for example, Bickle just added internally, so this will like go live in a few patches. He added the dome doors to the training area, like when they're the area where all the doors are. There's now a mini castle and all the dome doors and whatnot, so you can play on with those. Making adjustments like that and maybe some other things that make the thing more intuitive or whatever, sure. Creating like a full-blown proper tutorial that goes through all the mechanics and whatnot, probably not. The reason for that is these tutorials are nice for some people. The problem is like they're a lot of work. Like it's a lot of work to create a good full-blown tutorial. It's a lot of work, a lot of resources you have to put into, and the value is fairly small. Like if you compare it to something like interactive tutorial pop-ups or streamlining the game in some situation, like at some points, like making the game more intuitive, that stuff is way more effective and usually easier to do. So we're probably gonna focus on more like that, like contextual tooltips and stuff like that. That usually helps players way more for way less cost than a proper tutorial. So that's the answer to that. Door Kickers due process crossover confirmed. That would be fun. I'm not quite sure how that would. I mean, I guess you could have a Door Kickers map in a due process style, where Argus is breaching a building or whatever. That could work. Not quite sure how it would work the other way around. Will you hold people hostage and fill in a quiz? If they pass, they may play the game. No. Probably not. Well, definitely not. Like, not a quiz and they have to pass it to play the game. That's definitely a big no-go. But even something like a forced video is iffy already. Like, I'm not saying we're never gonna do that, but we're very hesitant to do it. Like, we have plans to improve NPE, and we will reassess the situation after we tried some things, but blocking people from actually playing the game is usually a bad idea. Are you worried about the game decreasing popularity? How do I put this? It's... If you're looking at the player base curve, like if you look at Steam charts or SteamDB or whatever, you have a pattern of like spike going down, spike going down, spike going down. These spikes are usually like marketing push in some way, shape or form. And those are fairly natural. Like most games, or a lot of games, have graphs that look similar to that. We would like that graph to be a little higher for sure, the pattern to be a little higher. Basically, our strategy is the following. We improve the game and we work on new content. And when we have new content, we make a big marketing push and give people that new content, like new tile set, for example. And we make a big deal out of it. We pay YouTubers to make videos. We make a sale, maybe get some Steam storefront coverage, maybe do a free weekend. Some of these things, or a combination of those. Then people will come in because of that marketing push plus new content, blah, blah, blah. Especially people who, like, people will come in throughout because of the marketing push. People who stopped playing the game in the past will come back to check out the new content. And all of them will, or more of them will, or some of them will stay because we actually improved the game since the last time they played, or in general, improved the game. So the goal is to improve the game steadily and reiterate on these marketing pushes. And eventually, like, the idea is that there will always be a spike and it will go down, and there will be another spike and will go down, and there will another spike and will go down. But every time the game improves between those spikes, and every time that spike or the drop down is a little bit less harsh, or settles a little higher than the last time, and overall the core player base grows over time. That's the goal. And so far we are confident in that strategy. What would be your personal wish for something to be added to the game, setting aside realistic depth thinking, if that makes sense? Are you talking feature-wise, or like are we talking about gadgets and guns, or are we talking about like a game system, or like a game mode or something like that? Regardless, let me think. What would I like to see? Can't really think about any cool gadgets. What I really would like to see, system-wise, like a feature to the game, would be like a full-blown recording, like demo recording system, where you can like record your game, then then have it in a small file and share that with other players, and then rewatch it and watch demos from other players and stuff like that. I would love to see that, but that's out of scope for now. That would be really cool though, and especially if it allows you to like make change camera in those recordings and like spectate the game from different perspectives, fly cam, make videos, whatnot. That would be really cool. I would love to see that, but that's not realistic for now. Will you guys do a similar summer event like the winter one? Maybe. We'll see. Nothing concrete planned right now. Any info on more spectate features like pause, rewind, restore from round, etc. I mean, we have a pause feature now for spectators. It's very rudimental. It just blocks the timer. Rewind and restore are probably big asks for now. I mean, eventually, not in the foreseeable, not in the near future. It says paused in a timer. Oh, that's actually good, but it's still like it doesn't pause the game. It doesn't pause the game. It just pauses the timer. It doesn't stop you from moving or doing anything really. So the main value of it is that you can pause the game during the planning phase and give people time to reconnect or figure out an issue or whatever, which is important. That's why you put it in for DPL, but anything like rewind or something like that, probably out of scope for, well, not necessarily out of scope, but not doable right now. Due process sponsored by Pepsi? No. I wish I would be sponsored by Pepsi. That would be amazing. Sometimes I'm trying to make the bottle like face the bottle like this so you cannot see what it is. I don't know why, honestly, but when is the next DP partner program opening? Ask Smith. Basically, his plan was to do it monthly. I feel like another one should have happened already. I think the last one is over a month away now, but I'm not quite sure. He probably is busy with other things. There will be another one eventually. If you're super excited about it, you can just DM him and see if he has time to verify or review your channel and whatnot. Is customization coming soon? Depends on what you mean by soon. We started planning and working on a progression customization system. So somewhat, like, not super far out anymore, hopefully. Within this year, at least a rudimentary, like, yeah. It's the plan. Let's put it that way, for sure. Some sort of customization this year, for sure. That's the plan. If we can do that or not. But yeah, probably. Like, it's, as I said earlier, like, the main priorities are right now performance, hit rate, progression / customization, new player experience, and new content. That's the 5 things we're working on, basically. And we cannot really do anything besides these things. Well, and design thingies like gunplay balancing and a few other things like that. Audio improvements. Like, it's basically our company, like, this, as I said, the team is small. So there's a bunch of different departments, quote unquote, or people with different skill sets, and they're spread out fairly thin. So everyone is working on different things, and everyone has their own track they're working on. The engineers, for example, are working on performance and hit rate. That's their 2 topics. Design team, so mainly Vince, is working on gunplay, and then there are a few more things on the line. One of them is reducing downtime, not necessarily in this order, but reducing downtime, making flashbangs less annoying, stuff like that. New guns, new tools, defender economy, these things. Then there's the audio team, like the one guy, or audio engineer, Bulk, who's working on a bunch of audio improvements, more and more stuff. Then we have our animator, Kevin, who was on last week's community hour, working on animations right now, reload animations. I'm not quite sure what he's gonna work on next, but he still has a few of those to do. So then we have the level team, which is working on levels, like on new levels and on current levels. We have the art team, which is supporting the level team for the most part right now. And we have UX, like it's a bunch of different people. Like, every team is really small, and they all have like a list of things that they're working on, right? It's like different tracks. What was I trying to get to with that? Customization, maybe. So customization requires some engineering support, but it's also requires the art team, obviously, and the design team, because they have to design the progression system. But it requires, as I said, some engineering support to make these things work. And for the engineering team, like, this is pretty much the next thing, right? After, or maybe, well, they're kind of working. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to go too much into detail, but basically, we're planning on working on it. We have started working on it partially. It's like, it's not too far out. That was a big ramble. I hope I got the idea across anyway. Well, I have some plans to improve the roadmap, the Trello. I'll have to figure out the details, but basically the things I just rambled about, I'm trying to find a way to display them better, to give you guys a better understanding on the different tracks that are being, like, this company works with. Like, there's the audio track, there's the animation track, there's the engineering track, there's the level design track, there's the game design track. All these, there's the art track, all these things, like different people working on different things. And I'm trying to find a way to visualize that better and communicate that better to you. So probably gonna have some significant changes to the Trello, or replacing the Trello, or putting something in addition to the Trello out there soonish. That's one of my main priorities right now, personally. to give you a better understanding on how we're approaching development of this game. I have this idea of having different branches of Argus that players can choose at the start of attack rounds, like having a branch with less health but with more stealth utility. This way more guns can be added without breaking the economy. Does this sound possible? It definitely sounds cool. I like that. That's cool, like having different play styles. Would be a little bit like, would this be per match at the start of the attack round? Oh, so per map or per round. Yeah, I would like that. I think this is cool. I don't think this is... depending on how you implement it, it's not that hard. I don't know if it's something you want to do, but it's definitely not like something I would say we're never going to do that. Like I'm not going to rule that out. So it's a cool idea. Why I personally like it is because it... Like if you... Like the attackers choose that, and then you make this known to the defenders. That's the big trick here. If you do that... the defenders know what the attackers, what their approach is. Like they're choosing the stealth, branch. Okay, they're probably gonna try to go for lights out and do that, or they're choosing the high health play. If like maybe they're going through the green door or whatever, something like that, right? And now the defenders have something to counterplan for, and stuff like that. So I think that would be really cool. Like it's not anytime soon for sure, but maybe in the future it could be a cool feature. Would be nice for sure. Like it's not something, as I said, I would say this doesn't fit the game. It definitely would fit the game if we do it. I cannot promise you that, but not out of the not something that's not possible. But definitely not anytime soon because priorities. FOV slider when? Yeah, eventually. I'm not sure what the priority is on that one. we'll get one. What is your main focus in the dev team? What do you mean? Like, okay, I don't understand the question. Can you reword that? Displaying the dev teams. Yeah, that would be a way to do it, Simber. But like, if you have any ideas how to visualize this, I have a few ideas. I'll have to try them out and see how it looks. But if you have any ideas how to get that information across better, feel free to DM me, any of you. Like if you have any, in general, like if you have any ideas how to make my job, like how to do my job better, like how can I communicate things better, how can I be more transparent, how can I explain stuff to the community better, or all these kind of things. Or in general, if you have any questions, my DMs are open. Feel free to message me whenever. Also, don't be worried about like sending me a message in the middle of the night or whatever. I'm pretty good at keeping track of my DMs, and my phone is off in the night. So if I don't want to get annoyed by pings, I'll just not going to look at them, but I will get back to them eventually. So don't worry about that. Just if you have anything, send it to me. What region would get the next server and another word to be added? It's hard to say. Maybe LATAM, like South America, maybe. Well, we have a South America. Wait, what's the one I'm thinking about? I don't know. We don't have plans to add more like regions right now. Brazil, yeah, maybe. The thing is that basically all the regions, any region we don't have yet, we don't have right now because we don't have any significant sales in that region. So it doesn't really make sense to put a region there. And I know this is like a chicken egg problem. Like if you don't put a region there, people will not buy it, blah, blah. But there's still people will still buy the game even if there's no proper region for them. It will be more people if we put the region there, but it's still an indicator. If nobody's buying the game from there, then it's not really worth it because regions cost money. Is Gex still playing in DPL? Not this season for sure. They never played in DPL anyway. I know what you mean. I just want to clarify here. Gex would not participate in the upper league because there's money involved now. They participated in Rivals last season. They're not going to participate this season, but mainly because we don't have time, energy, resources to do that right now. So maybe in the future we'll see as a fun thing. But I feel like it probably is better to just for the future to just do like involve the dev team in show matches and streams and stuff like that, and not so much actually playing in the league. What's your role in the dev team? Okay, I'm the community manager. That means my goal is to, I like to call myself community gardener, even though it's cringy, but I like cringy things. So my goal is to create the best communication between the dev team and the community. So I'm trying to, like, it's basically two things. I'm trying to collect feedback from the community, aggregate it, make sense of it, and prioritize it, and then give that to the dev team, and make it like actionable, preferably, before I do so. And the other direction is I'm trying to be transparent about our development process and our development decisions. So I'm trying to explain to the community why and how and why we're doing things and what we're doing. So these are the two things I'm focusing on for the most part. That's my job, really. So I hope that covers it fairly well. I guess they have participated in season alpha, yeah. Simper, you're technically correct, but there was no money involved in that season. So was that because of legal reasons GEC couldn't compete? Well, first of all, GEC just didn't make Upper League. They played in the qualifier last season, and they didn't make it. They played in the rival season, and didn't make it for this season. So it was not even a question. However, now with money involved, if the GEC team would still be active, they would actively choose not to participate in the Upper League for technical, I'm not even sure if there's a legal reason, really. Maybe, but just because it's in conflict of interest, right? So yeah, community cringener. I like that one. That's my new title. No, it's not, but it's funny. Payan, the cringy German. Sure. That describes me fairly well, I guess. Legal precaution. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What does a server location cost? Probably can't answer, but if you can, it's just I can't really answer. I don't know it specifically either, but it's not super expensive, but it's also not insignificant. So. And yeah, it varies from region to region. That's absolutely correct. DPL kinda cringe. Could you hire me just to make dome maps? I would be very good and fix all the runouts. I feel like you would put intentional runouts in. By the way, with seeing you, we have some things planned to make it harder. We probably don't have the silver bullet yet, but we have plans to avoid that or make that issue less frequent. And yeah, no. We don't need another level designer. Right now. Are we getting more content soon? Define soon, but probably. Roomba Boomba under dome. Oh no. Roomba Boomba. But wouldn't the Roomba Boomba be a defender item, so it would actually attack the attackers? So not really solving the issue here. Silver bullet for runouts. If defender is outside, they have 5 seconds to get inside. No reason for the line of sight system to exist. Yes. That said, the LOS system is really cool and it just hurts the game. It's one of these aesthetic things. It makes sense, right? It's cool. Our goal is to, like, the solution here is to make the system work the intended way. Also, 5 seconds is a lot. But so we rather nudge the system to work in the intended way than replace it by a weird one, like by a by a system that doesn't fit that doesn't make sense in the game, in the game world. How hard is it, in your opinion, to become a game designer? It depends on what you mean by becoming a game designer. You can just sit down, get one of these, choose an engine of your liking, and make a game. Bam, you're a game designer. Getting hired as a game designer, probably hard, I imagine. So, yeah. What's your favorite Due Process podcast? Mine is the C-Store podcast, which gets every Saturday at 8 a.m. EST a new episode. My favorite podcast is the one that's I'm still waiting for the first episode of. That's my favorite podcast. But no, it's a C-Store podcast because they're actually making a podcast and not teasing me with one that doesn't come out. So improvement and optimization will still be small, but in each update, or can we accept some big single improvement? We're actually working on one of the bigger ones. There's a significant one, like a really significant one is in the works. Oh, well, we don't know the full effect yet, but the hope is, like, we're putting very significant resources into it. So the hope is that it will, or not the hope, we are expected to have very significant improvements, like a very significant effect, because otherwise we would not put that much work into it. So yeah, a big one is in the works. After that, it will probably go back to, hey, smaller ones here and there, but we have one big one coming up. Just add fire to the dome floor and add the lore that Argus have fireproof boots. But then they could fall into the pit and survive. but I like your thinking, definitely. I'm making a Dome podcast. Oh no. Dude podcast. I want Dude Process back. What was it called? Was it Dude? I think it was Dude Process, right? With Plague and Clover. Fireproof isn't lava-proof though. Fair, I guess. Electrify the under the dome for some Argus speed boost. Speed boots. Speed boots. DPL podcast, man. What would be a DPL? What would the DPL podcast be? Like an official DPL podcast where we like give a summary? You know what? That's not a bad idea, actually. That's like we're trying to figure out a good way to like do like put stats in a decent format and whatnot, and analyze rounds and whatnot. Maybe we should just do a podcast. Like we put like Donut and Revenant and I don't know, put them together, let them record 2 hours a week, and put it out. Bam, done. Maybe that's the easiest way to do this. That's actually not a bad idea. I'll bring that up. Will there be other locations inside the city? C-Store is cool, but the rest of the city looks even cooler. Yes, definitely. For sure. You're referring to Factory and Dome and Kalos not being like in the city, right? That's what you're thinking about. C-Store is in the city. Yeah, other things will be like we have some plans for tilesets that will be in the city. Stream it. Yeah, sure, stream it, Simber. We live stream it and then we make the VOD available. I mean, yeah, why not? Yeah, it just doesn't require editing. We're just doing like a 2-hour stats round, like a week recap, round analysis thing. That sounds like a great idea. I just learned Premiere for the stat stuff. Don't make me learn Audacity. Audacity is really easy though. Like, there's not much to learn. Any plans for a Riot Shield or something like that? I have good news for you. Yes, we had a Riot Shield back in the alpha. We'll bring it back in combination with its counterpart, the Shopping Cart Technical, which is a big shopping cart, which is a shopping cart filled with sandbags and a big LMG strapped on top of it. Also ETA on character customization. No ETA, but we're working on it. Is there going to be gun skins that can be earned by progression challenges? We're focusing on character customization first. We'll look into gun skins eventually. So yeah, but we want you to earn some skins through progression. So anyway, I actually have to cut this one short. A little sad because this one's really active today. Lots of people in chat asking good questions. So I enjoyed this, but I actually have to leave now because another important meeting I have to attend. So come back next week for sure. So is the shopping cart only available in C-Store? Or no? No, it's not. That would be funny though. So yeah, we'll be back next week with making maps and community hours on Wednesday. So please come back, ask me all the questions you don't have time today. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And see ya in game. Bye bye.
Mr. Swan, I'm receiving at 39.